Hello, my name is Cherie, and if you're new to my channel, thanks so much for stopping by. Today, I wanted to briefly discuss the Bernette 08 because there's not a lot of people talking about it. The Bernette 08 released at the Detroit show along with the Bernina 990. If you have not seen my video on the Bernina 990, then please do go and check that out. I will leave a link down in the description box below. Anyhow, the Bernette 08 is a straight stitch only machine, so that now means that pretty much every brand has at least one straight stitch machine in their lineup, and that tells me two different things. One, most people who are sewing today are either quilters or bag makers, and two, it also lets me know that the vast majority of people want a sewing machine that is simple without a ton of bells and whistles, and that is exactly what this Bernette 08 is. Before I get into talking about the features of the Bernette 08, I really do have to address the elephant in the room, and that is the fact that this machine looks almost identical to the Janome 1600, and it also has pretty much the exact same specs as that machine. The American retail price for the 08 is listed at $2,000. Now, if you are able to find a Janome 1600 somewhere, then you will find it roughly $1,000. Also, I wouldn't sleep on looking at an Elna EF1 because that's virtually the exact same machine. And it is also listed around that $1,000 price range. Before I get to talking about the specs of the 08, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the infomercials surrounding this machine so that we can get an idea of the demographic and who they are marketing this machine to. The first thing that I'm noticing is that the music is alternative, and that is drastically different than what you hear on Bernina commercials where the music is rather jazzy. Back in the days when I worked retail, I knew that the retail stores all purchased music to play inside of their stores based on the customer demographic. So if I went to a store that was in an upper echelon area, they were either playing classical music or jazz. But then when I went to the lower end of town, where most of the lower middle class people lived, the music changed from being jazzy to all of a sudden being very alternative or rock. So I'm thinking along the same lines when it comes to this Bernette machine. They must be marketing to the masses with this. The assumption must be that anyone interested in the Bernette 08 would also be a middle-aged woman who enjoys quilting and loves Miss Clairol or Dark and Lovely. It ain't nothing wrong with any of that, by the way. I just thought that I would state the obvious because that is what they are showing us on screen. Let's go ahead and skip the rest of this commercial and look at the next commercial that they have for this machine. The second person that we see working on this machine is a middle-aged guy with a gray beard, and he's doing some light leather work. So I guess they assume that the target market for this machine is either going to be a middle-aged woman or man, and they're either going to be a quilter or someone who's into doing light leather work like bag making. We've learned enough about the assumed demographics of the machine. Now let's talk specs. While this machine is a straight stitch only machine, it does have some modern amenities that set it apart. It has the independent bobbin winder, the needle up down button, speed control, and a thread cutter. It also has a speed of 1600, and these are all the exact same features that you will find on the Janome 1600. Likewise, you have 9 inches to the right of the needle in the same way as you do with your Janome. You also get an extra wide foot control with this machine, and the extra wide foot control is identical to the foot control that you'll find on the HD9. And that is a really nice foot control because it is extra wide and just gives you a lot of room. Now, the bobbin is something that I have to ask questions about because you do get a extra large bobbin on the 08, but I'm unsure about whether or not that extra large bobbin is compatible with the Janome 1600 bobbins, or if it's compatible with some of the version 1 or version 2 HD9 bobbins. That is to be figured out at a later date because I haven't seen a lot of information online about that. But somehow I kind of think that this machine was modeled after that machine, or that they got parts from Janome in order to make the Bernette 08, but that's just speculation on my part. If you are familiar with the Janome 1600, you will know that that machine does not have a feed dog drop. Likewise, this Bernette 08 does not have a feed dog drop, which means that you will need to purchase a quilting kit with this machine, and that quilting kit includes a needle plate, which is a little thicker to cover up those feed dogs so that you can free motion quilt without the feed dogs getting in the way. That is a pain in the behind for a quilter to have to unscrew a needle plate and replace it with a different needle plate in order to free motion. But if you only use this machine for free motion and not piecing, then it won't matter to you. Now, most people who are in the market for a straight stitch only machine usually either go with a Janome or a Juki. And the Juki fans generally want the Juki because it has the feed dog drop, but the Janome fans generally want the Janome because it has additional lighting. So if you are wanting to have additional lighting, then you could either go with the Janome or the Bernette 08. But if you want that feed dog drop and that is a deal breaker for you, then you would probably want to go with one of the Jukis in that TL series. One of the other things that is oftentimes a decision maker for most people in the market for a straight stitch machine is the foot control. And with this Bernette 08, you do get that extra wide foot control, and that is pretty nice. Also, you have the option to add a thread cutter onto this foot control that operates independently from the foot control so that you don't accidentally snip your threads. On the Juki, however, that machine comes with a foot control that has a back kick for cutting your threads, and a lot of people were complaining that they were accidentally cutting their threads when they didn't want to. So Juki had to introduce a additional piece to go on to their foot control that stops that thread cutter from working. And that is something that a lot of people have complained about, that they don't necessarily like it, that it makes the foot control sit higher, but others are okay with it. So it really just depends on your personal preference when it comes to that foot control. Overall, I'm really happy that Bernette decided to come out with a straight stitch machine because it appears to be what their audience wants. However, I'm a little disappointed that they did not come out with a machine that has a unique selling point that sets them apart from the rest of the brands that are on the market. Hopefully in the future they will get their own identity when it comes to a straight stitch machine, but for now we have to settle for this. But guys, what do you think? Do you think that Bernette should have a unique selling point to their machines? If so, what would you add to this Bernette to make it different from the Janome 1600? Please let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, as I would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to receive more sewing related content. Peace.